Hi guys, welcome to Archer and Bambi. Today we're going to be doing our first review video. And before we get into the actual product, I kind of just want to go over how my review system works. So there's only 3 ratings that I'm going to give a product. The first is going to be that I'm just not going to buy it. I'll do the review and I'll either return it or sell it. But in general, I'm telling you that the product isn't good. It's just a bad product. There's no place for it in your arsenal. The second rating is where I expect a lot of these products to fall. There might be a specific application for it. For instance, today we're going to be reviewing a hinge release. Now you guys know a lot of target archers use hinge releases, and there are some hunters that'll use it, and it kind of depends on what your application is. So we're going to get into the debate just a little bit about using a hinge on a hunt later on during the review, but this is where I expect a lot of our products to fall. It might go into your 3D bag and it'll stay home for the hunts, but generally it's a good enough product to buy, but not the one to put on your hunting rig. And obviously the third rating or the third level would be that it goes on my hunting rig, because you can only do one of each thing, one sight, one stabilizer, one release. That's obviously going to be my highest rating, and it's going to be handed out very rarely. So today we're going to be looking at the B3 Archery Coop release. Now B3 Archery, from what I've read online, was started by Joe Scott. Joe is the grandson of the founder of Scott Releases, and he's part of the outdoor group, and they moved their manufacturing over to New York. So Joe said that he wasn't going to be a part of that. He created B3 Archery, and they all stayed in Kentucky, which I can absolutely appreciate. The release itself is a 3-finger design, micro adjustable half moon. It's got click or no click. It has a O-ring on your actual claw so that when you're done shooting it resets. It's got this beautiful chameleon color. I really do like this release. Obviously it's beautiful, right? I have a green and pink bow, so naturally I saw a green and pink release and I thought I gotta have this. The color itself costs an extra $10. I got this from Lancaster Archery. All in all, to my door it cost me $175. So the color itself is absolutely gorgeous, but if you do want this for the color, just know that after 8 hours of shooting it and setting it down and shooting it and setting it down, I did start to experience wear points on the third finger and on your thumb rest. So where there's contact, there's going to be wear. Just know that if you're looking at this color. The function of it, I absolutely loved shooting this release. It feels really good in my fingers. There's no hiccups when you're drawing it back. There's no hiccups when you're actually pulling back. It's very smooth and it's very easy to adjust. There's an Allen wrench on each side of the half moon. You loosen them, you put it where you want it, you tighten them back up. You're absolutely good to go. It's very simple to use. It's very easy. And as somebody who has relatively recently started using hinges as opposed to a thumb button, this makes that transition very easy. I've used several 4 3-fingers and then 1 2-finger from Stan or from Scott. And as far as drawing back and feeling confident in my positioning, this release made it feel better than the other ones have. I took it to the range, set it up for myself. Now it's set relatively cold, but it is absolutely wonderful to use. So the release itself, the only issue that I've had with it so far is that the half moon, after about 8 hours of shooting, right when I noticed that the third finger was starting to wear, the half moon had come completely loose. It's not going to function, which is a pretty big deal. If you, let's say, buy a release now, you're obviously going to use it before you go out to, like, say, a 3D shoot with it. But if you buy it and you're on that shoot and it becomes loose, now you've got a problem. Now you've got to pull out all of your Allen wrenches, you got to tighten it up, and you got to make sure it's in the exact same spot. That way your firing order is the exact same. It's not a big deal. It's very simple to fix, just like I said earlier. But it's one of those things where I don't know if it's quality assurance issue, if it's a manufacturing issue, but it's one of those things where if you do get one of these releases, just have a look-see, make sure everything's tied up. Okay, so as far as the company goes, I did call them 2 days before I actually ordered the product. I asked them what their return policy was. A very nice, very bubbly lady answered the phone, and she said she didn't know. She took my name and phone number, said she'd give me a call back. I never got a call back, which isn't really that big of a deal, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you had a little bit of a quality assurance problem, making sure that everything was tight. You didn't give me a call back when you said you would. I just want to make sure that if you're going to be a new company and you're going to be starting out in something that there's already plenty of hinges on the market. There's already plenty of wrist straps. They also make sights, and there's plenty of those as well. If you're going to be a company that's getting into doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, I just want them to know, and I just want you to know that their customer service could be a little bit better. Just something to watch out for. I don't know if this is 1 in 10, 1 in a million. Am I going to have to tighten all of my screws on all of the stuff I get from them or not? Just something to watch out for if you do go with this release. So like I said, I'm going to give this a 2 for right now. Currently, I use a True Fire 4-finger release. It's a thumb button. It's got a rotatable head so that when I draw back, there's no torque on the D-loop, which I absolutely love. We know that torque is something that can throw off your shot significantly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit myself to using this all summer, or using a hinge all summer in general. I do love the way this release feels, and I'm willing to let bygones be bygones with the company because I do feel that strongly about this release. Now, moving this off of my hunting rig doesn't mean that this is automatically going to be the one. I'm going to be doing a lot more reviews. I'm going to be getting a lot more releases throughout the summer. Whatever products you guys want to see reviewed, let me know, and I'll be doing those. This is just going to stay at a level 2 because I do have a lot of things that I want to get going for the summer, and I don't know if this is going to be the one I use to hunt yet, but I can tell you that I am going to be using a hinge to hunt this year, and here's why. So there is some talk online or in forums or wherever about using a hinge on a hunt. Now there's some positives and there's some negatives, but in my opinion, I do believe that the positives strongly outweigh the negatives to it. Now, we'll start with the general feeling from a lot of people, which is if you've got a giant 6x6 or a drop tine buck, something coming in, charging in at you, using this to draw back and then have proper shot execution is going to take more time than just pulling back and ripping on it with a thumb button or a wrist strap. Yes, you may miss an opportunity on an animal, but you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the animal to make as good of a shot as you possibly can. So that means not pulling back and just going wham, having proper shot execution, having yourself do the proper steps in order to make sure that that shot is as good of a clean shot as you can possibly get. Because none of us want to hurt an animal. Now, I assume that anybody who's watching this video is an ethical hunter. It's not cool to be unethical anymore. It never really was, but it's not cool to be Bubba down in Alabama running down deer with your car. In my opinion, if using a hinge on a hunt is the difference between a centimeter away from an artery and hitting an artery, then the hinge is worth it. And not only the hinge being worth it, but the price is worth it. You can go down to Walmart or Bass Pro, get yourself a $15 or $20 wrist strap if you'd like. And this being $175, yes, it's an investment. It's an absolute investment. But if it's the difference between recovering and not recovering an animal that you've hit, 100% worth it every time. If it's the difference between taking a bad shot on a trophy animal and not taking that shot on a trophy animal but not injuring it, 100% worth it every time. Now, is it possible to be good with the wrist strap? Absolutely it is. Look at Cam Hanes, and a lot of people would point to Cam Hanes. They say, well, he uses a wrist strap and he shoots 5 inches at 180 yards. Absolutely he does. But he also has a lot of time to practice, and he's got form like you wouldn't believe. Most guys that I see, their form varies slightly in between shots. Their execution just isn't the same. That man is a machine when it comes to form. So comparing Joe Schmo down at your local range and Cameron Hanes, in my opinion, just isn't a fair comparison. A hinge release will make you shoot better. It will make you have better form. It will make you make a better shot. So when we talk about it, I truly believe in that. Alright guys, so that kind of covers it for the B3 Archery Coop release. It's a beautiful release. I'm going to leave it at a level 2 right now. We're going to be having a lot of things going on this summer. I'm going to be doing a lot of different reviews. I don't know which one's actually going to go on the hunting rig, but I do expect to use this a lot. I've been using it like crazy, and it is a wonderful release to shoot. Now, I want to be doing things like the Easton T64s and all of the latest and greatest gear. The T64s are the ones that it goes from a 6mm to a 4mm. That taper suggests that there will be less resistance as the arrow passes through an animal. And I kind of want to get some ballistic gel and see how much difference in penetration, and is it going to be worth that $200 price tag. I only want to be doing the highest quality gear, the latest and greatest. Companies throw a lot of hype at us these days. Everything is the latest and the most amazing thing that's ever come out since sliced bread. Well, I just don't believe it most of the time, I'll be honest with you. A lot of companies make a lot of hype for not a lot of product. So my goal is to be able to help you guys discern what's a good product, what's a great product, and what's just flat out lies from the company. Now, go ahead and press the subscribe button. Comment down below what kind of reviews you want to be seeing in the future. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.